What's going on, guys? Hope everybody's having a great day. It's been alright for me. I had a flat tire earlier. I had to go to work on my vacation day, so it hasn't been a great day. But you can make it greater if you smash that like button for me. I really would appreciate it. It takes minimal effort. I'll never ask you for a dime, nothing else, but I will ask you to hit the like button. I'll ask you to subscribe to the channel, turn on notifications. YouTube will let you know every time I post, and then we'll be able to see each other all the time, right? Let's get into the video. So Ann Taylor is Brian Kohberger's lawyer. We've known that ever since Brian Kohberger got to Idaho. She made a pretty big splash because as soon as he got here, she stopped the cleanup on the crime scene. There was this whole big thing about her getting somebody off on a murder charge because a cop lied, right? We knew that Brian Kohberger's attorney was Ann Taylor. So if we all knew that, then Xana Kernodles, Xana Kernodles' mother, should have known that, right? One of the victim's parents should have known that Brian Kohberger's attorney was Ann Taylor. Now, this woman was also being represented by that same lawyer, Ann Taylor. How does she not know that? How? Why does it have to come out in the media before she finds out on Reddit that her lawyer and his lawyer are the same? Obviously, she's not following this too closely, right? She's not keeping up with things in the case. I really doubt that anything in her case is connected to this case. Doesn't mean that there's not a conflict of interest, though. There's a conflict of interest because Ann Taylor literally dropped Kara to pick Brian up. She dropped her current client to take the new shiny client, the new client that everybody in the world is watching, the new client that can make her a household name if she could pull that rabbit out of a hat and get him off, right? This over here, this is just another drug case. Sign them into rehab. Anybody can do it. No big deal. Of course she takes this. 75-80% of Americans would take that. That's just God's honest truth. Not everybody's got a moral compass. I don't know what I would do in that situation. Ambition is a bitch. Ambition will make you do things that you didn't think you would do. It would make you, is there really harm there? If the cases aren't connected, no. But it's still just a negative thing to do. You broke this person's trust. You're supposed to be this person's lawyer, and you betrayed them. And you did betray them. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. Now, whatever you feel about what I just said, you can let me know in the comments below. But I think it's a betrayal by Ann Taylor, but I think it's a common one. I think most people would do it because these are two separate cases. Just because one person that she did represent that didn't even know who she was possibly until all this came out, I don't think that they're going to have a leg to stand on that. Kara said she signed over power of attorney to this woman. But if she did that, how does she not know that this woman is representing Kohberger until she sees it on social media yesterday? That doesn't make sense, does it? Let's watch this clip from Ashley Banfield. We'll go over that and more in this clip.
There have been conflicts of interest with attorneys for far less than this. Let me give you an example. If you think that perhaps some point you want to divorce your spouse and you have a conversation with a couple of lawyers, your spouse can no longer retain any of those lawyers just because you had a conversation.
Okay, that's a little bit different. Like I said, these are two separate cases. If you're going through a divorce and you go speak to a divorce lawyer and you tell that divorce lawyer your plan of action, what you're hoping to achieve, how you plan to do it, and then they go and they represent the other side in that same case against you, that is worse legally than what we're talking about here. It's worse if the person that you just gave out all your strategy to in a divorce is batting for the other team.
So this woman, Kara Northington, whose daughter was violently murdered in Idaho, one of the Idaho 4, those 4 students killed in Moscow at the University of Idaho. She is now facing the reality that the person she trusted most with 4 of her cases is now representing her daughter's accused killer.
All right, so there's a little hyperbole there, right? The person she trusted most. Her public defender attorney is not the person she trusted most, but it's the person she trusted for legal advice. And in this situation, with everything that's going on in her life right now, she probably needs legal advice. And the person that she goes to for legal advice is representing the other team. The person that has represented her in the other cases dropped her off this case so that she could go represent the suspect accused of killing her daughter. Imagine that. That would be a betrayal. That would definitely be a betrayal.
Here's that conversation.
So, Kara, what was your first reaction when you learned that your former attorney is representing the man accused of killing your daughter?
I'm heartbroken because I trusted her. She pretended that she was wanting to help me.
Betrayed better than heartbroken. This woman isn't heartbroken. She didn't even know that her lawyer was Brian Kohberger's lawyer, even though we all knew who Brian Kohberger's lawyer was. And she should have known who her lawyer was if she's going to be heartbroken about it, right? We got to be real here.
And to find that out that she's representing him, I can't even convey how betrayed I feel.
Right. You would feel betrayed. I'm glad she used betrayed there. She said heartbroken. Some people just, use their words however. Maybe I took that the wrong way, but it would be a betrayal.
Have you had a chance to speak with her about this?
No, I haven't spoken with her. I found out through a friend who found it on Reddit. So,
You found out through a friend through social media. You weren't notified by Ann Taylor, your attorney, herself?
Right now.
And have you tried to reach out to her?
No, I just found out today, literally. So.
How did she just find out today? If that's her attorney, and she knew who her attorney was, she knew her attorney was Ann Taylor, then how did she not know that that was the same woman of all the pictures of all the reports of? They were talking about her putting a stop to cleaning up the crime scene. They were talking about her getting somebody else off for the same type of charges. They were speaking on her. Everybody knew it. I knew his attorney's name. Most of y'all knew his attorney's name. The victim's mother didn't know his attorney's name. It's because she wasn't looking. She wasn't interested in knowing his attorney's name or didn't think about it or something, right? But it just doesn't track. It doesn't track that you didn't know this until a day ago and you found out on Reddit when his attorney's name has been plastered everywhere. He's accused of murdering your daughter, and this lawyer was representing you right now, not just all back in the day. She was representing you right now and dropped you to take that case. You didn't see that? You didn't know that happened? That's so wild to me.
I mean, just so many thoughts. It's so incredible that there is this connection. Are you going to try to fight this at all?
Well, yeah.
How you going to fight it? What are you going to fight? This is going to go, either she signed a waiver or she didn't sign a waiver, right? This is going to go to a court hearing and a judge is going to decide. Now, we can probably do petitions if you think you should do petitions or something. If you want to go out and try to push for this cause to stop Ann Taylor from representing Kohberger, I don't know. I think that in the hearing, the judge is going to rationalize whether he believes that the cases are connected or not based off of the, what they know. And he's either going to let her continue or not. But I believe that if he does let her continue and Kohberger gets found guilty, that's going to be the very first thing they use to appeal with. They're going to say, she didn't go as hard as she could have. She had loyalty. He didn't have adequate representation. It's going to be maybe an excuse, maybe not true, but that's going to be the appeal if he's found guilty, if they let her continue to represent him, right? What do you guys think? What do you guys think should happen here? Because it is a conflict of interest, obviously, but is it legally? Because the cases aren't connected? Because she didn't even know? How did she not know? I'm just saying. I don't think Kara and Xana were close. I don't think Kara and Jasmine, Xana's sister, who's at Washington State University, are close because of what she says in this video.
Yes.
Because as I understand it, this would require a waiver, something that you sign and that he would sign in order for her to go ahead and be able to do this legitimately. I can imagine the way your reaction is that you are not interested in signing a waiver to allow her to continue on.
Right, exactly. And I'd already given her power of attorney. I'd already signed over power of attorney so that she could help me with getting into rehab and whatnot.
Do you think that she signed over power of attorney to Ann Taylor? Does that give Ann Taylor the right to sign the waiver for herself? Or did Kara sign the waiver and not know that she signed the waiver? Is there a waiver or is there not? Because if there is, and she's saying she didn't sign it, maybe she didn't know she signed it.
So, I mean, I don't understand how she could do this. I don't understand what happens now. Does she still have power of attorney, or what goes on now?
And no one has reached out to you from the public defender's office to help you navigate next steps?
No.
Right. I don't know. I don't know how that works. If she signed over power of attorney to her, I don't know. I mean, she dropped the case, but would she still have power of attorney? I wish I knew more details about the charges of Kara's case to see if it's in any way related. Like how much? What was she doing? Like was she trafficking heroin and bringing in a bunch to some drug dealer and possibly was going to drop some off at this house and that house and that house? Or was she taking this over there so they would give her a little bit of it? You know what I mean?
Have you been in communication with the police and prosecutors about the next step in this process and where you might fit in?
No.
And do you want that? Do you want to be in communication with them to understand what's happening and what they're going to be doing as they move forward in prosecuting him?
Oh, yeah. Yes.
Okay, she's saying that, but you can feel that it's not sincere, right? Like, yeah, she would like to know everything. She would like for them to call and tell her every little thing that's going on. But she probably doesn't have a phone constantly. She probably isn't available constantly. She's probably, in and out and going through these routines or whatever she's doing. I don't know what she's doing. I think back when she was trying to get Harsh to take his videos down of her so she would come on his channel for an interview, I feel like people were saying she worked in the music industry. So she's probably traveling from bar to bar, playing, getting messed up every night. Obviously, she's not following the case too much if she just found out that Ann Taylor was Brian Kohberger's attorney.
So no one has reached out to you?
No. Not the prosecutors anyway, no.
Who have you spoken with?
I've honestly, just media has been getting a hold of me.
Do you feel like you're being left out of this process?
A little bit, yeah.
This woman is still one of the victim's mothers. So she does have every right to information about what's going on. Just because she has her own issues doesn't mean that she doesn't need to be informed. Now, of course, they're going to be more careful, right? She still deserves respect. She still deserves to be treated as the victim's mother.
Had you ever heard the name Brian Kohberger before?
No, I have not, no.
And do you know of any connection at all that he might have had with your daughter, Xana?
I can't imagine. I can't imagine that she had any connection with him. He's quite a bit older than all of them, and all of their friends, really. I mean, they didn't really hang out with a lot of older people. So,
I mean, I wouldn't guess that they just knew each other. We know that he messaged them on Instagram, but they didn't message back. And we know that he's been in the area, but I don't think there. I don't know. But I wouldn't suspect him being 28 going to Washington State that he would be hanging out with some 20 or 21-year-olds from the other college down the road. But it's possible that they've been out and seen each other and met and talked before, or they have mutual friends or this or that. It's possible because they're not that far apart in age.
I don't know if they knew him, or, I mean, they could have, because he did attend school at WSU, which is another thing. My oldest daughter, Jasmine, attends school at WSU. And so the fact.
And right, I mean, that is a connection, right? Maybe he knows Jasmine. Maybe Jasmine is Xana's sister. Maybe Xana was the target. Maybe something happened between him and Jasmine. There could be endless possibilities, but it doesn't do any good to say, well, it's possible this happened. It's possible that happened. It's just, was he? Do we know this? Is there any proof of this or evidence of this? You know, there should be tracks somewhere that lead to if they knew each other. With all the social media, with all the GPS, with all the cameras on everything, if they knew each other, we should find out in court for sure.
That the law enforcement knew who he was from the get-go and didn't warn us to keep Jasmine home from school. That just, I'm just beside myself.
Well, they're not going to tell you, hey, we've got a suspect we're not positive on yet, but he goes to the same school as your other daughter. I mean, they're not going to do that. They might have been watching to try to keep an eye on Jasmine to make sure nothing happened. Hopefully. But they're not going to just go in and say that. They're not going to give away what they know, because if you say something to Jasmine and then Jasmine says something to Brian and then Brian takes off running, that's that, right? They have to investigate first. As scary as it is, they have to investigate first. But like I said before, Kara doesn't have the greatest relationship with her daughters. If you listen to the things she says, she doesn't. She's never been to Xana's house. She hasn't spoken to Jasmine about the fact that somebody from her school was the one that murdered Xana, allegedly. How? You're her mother, right? Obviously, we've got some different family dynamics here, right?
And Jasmine was at WSU for the whole 7-week period.
Yes.
From the murders to the arrest. She was there the whole time.
Yes.
What's her reaction to this been?
I haven't spoken with her about it yet. But I mean, I can only imagine, you know.
See what I mean? How? How have you not spoken with your daughter about it yet? This didn't just happen. We didn't just find out about it. We knew about Kohberger for almost a month now. So, make it make sense.
She was adamant about going to school. She wasn't going to let this keep her from going to school. But I think it would have been different had she known that Xana's killer was going to school with her.
From what you know, no connection that you know of anyway between Kohberger and Xana. Do you think it's possible that he may have connected with Xana and Maddie through the Mad Greek restaurant where they worked?
That is a possibility. I mean, I'm sure they connected with a lot of people that way.
What do you guys think about that? Let me know what you think down in the comments below. Like the video. Subscribe to the channel to see more. Hit that notification bell so you get notified anytime I post. Have a great day, and we'll see you later.